Thanks for joining us for the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality-focused podcast where the founders of branded hospitality ventures share their insights and bring technology and innovation leaders that are making things happen in the industry we love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy. I'd like to introduce my partner, Mr. Michael Schatzberg, also known as the restaurant guy.
And thanks for that kind introduction, Jimmy. And to all those listening, feel free to call me Schatzy. Together, we are the personalities behind Branded. We work at the intersection of hospitality, food service, technology, innovation, and capital.
I tell you, we do a lot of things.
I tell you. I'm exhausted
we're very busy.
Just saying that.
We're very busy. Listen, for the month of August, we're taking a break from our usual interview episodes and bringing you the best of season of all your favorite segments.
Can I just hear a little bit of the Camp Brant Lake alma mater again, Jimmy? Because I got to tell you, just a little bit more.
I'm going to skip the singing, but I'm going to simply say the one thing: green and gray. It is like there's
Brand Lake fight zone.
Green and gray. There's this. People think the Super Bowl's big. They think the NBA championship is big. They think Wimbledon might be big. No,
Color
small
war?
potatoes. Well, we call it green and gray.
Oh, because color war's not.
I think it's not politically. It's not pro.
Was it ever color war?
I think at some point it was color war, but now
it's green and gray.
Now it's green and gray.
Okay.
You know, sports done right. You know, you compete, you butt off, and you go back to the bunk and
So
your friends.
are you going to be up there judging?
I'm a purple now.
So you're a judge.
I'm a judge.
Oh man, Brant Lake judge.
Brant Lake judge.
All right.
Brant Lake judge. All right.
Very prestigious, by the way.
A lot of judges come back. A lot of veterans come back to help out. All right. We're bringing back the best of old favorites, such as Top of the Tech Stack and Which Came First. We also have tried and true favorites, Talking Back and the Crystal Ball Moment. And of course, we can't leave out the most popular segment of all time, according to one person, the Branded Quickfire. That one person, Mr. Schatzberg.
Thank you, Jimmy.
And for today's episode, this will feature best of Who Would You Beat? The final question of every.
I don't do well in this one.
Of every Branded Quickfire. You know what? Schatz does not do well in this one, but I got to tell you, I do pretty well.
Yeah. Well, there's only two of us,
I do pretty well. This is what each guest is asked: who would they have a better chance or better odds of beating in a selected game, competition, or otherwise? It is by far the funniest question, and one where I will say I hold a fairly strong record as a very worthy competitor to my brother from another mother, Mr. Schatzberg. We've had some funny answers throughout the season, such as Schatzy being compared to a skinny can of shaken soda waiting to pop. And of course, when Sterling Douglas instantly chose Schatzy that he would beat.
Didn't even listen to the question
before even hearing the question. Speaking of Sterling Douglas,
I didn't need to because whatever it was, I could beat that.
Speaking of Sterling Douglas, we are very happy and proud to have as our special guest host. Once again, he's been with us for the entire Best of series. He received rave reviews when he was the guest host during our On the Road at the Mertech episode, and we brought him back. Here he is, none other than Mr. Four-Time, the only person with the blue blazer, now named the technology guy, our friend, our partner, Mr. Sterling Douglas, CEO of Chowly. Sterling, welcome back to the Hangout.
Hey, thanks for having me back, guys. And this is the episode I've been waiting for. This is the one that I am so excited to be a part of.
It's as I said, the Quickfire, Jimmy. It's always been the best, and Who Would You Beat? It's always the most fun. We always have the best laughs. Listen, Sterling. So now that I'm probably going to put myself into a corner here. But how could we do the best of Quickfire without putting you on the spot one more time?
All right.
And I'm going to ask you, who would you beat? And before you say Schatzy, let me just get the question out there.
Sterling, my mic off.
Sterling, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do this.
I feel like this is like a loaded question. It has no chance. If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of paintball, who had you better odds of beating? Jimmy, stand up and show him your girth.
Yeah, I know.
Chad, show Sterling your steady hand.
And you're a very
show him your steady hand.
Target.
All of it. Schatzy can hide behind a little fence post. I would never be able to find him.
I turned sideways.
He disappears.
I mean, Jimmy cannot hide so much.
I'd say Jimmy
can get a really big trick.
I gotta say, I think that question may have been a layup
Schatzy, you're making them work hard to find questions like
Well, Julie was up all night last night, I think. So what do you think? So who do you have better odds to beat?
Oh, definitely Jimmy, for sure.
All right, there we go. Thank you. I've got full redemption.
Glad I waited.
I'm feeling shamed. Feeling shamed.
Yeah, no, it's really, we shouldn't be shamed.
Feeling shamed. All right.
It's simple physics.
Yes, it is simple physics. Is it physics? Is that right? I wasn't very good at science.
Geometry?
I think it's geometry.
Combination of
I
all
think it's
the
geometry. And I think it's geometry. All right. Now, let's get into it. The best ofs. For this episode, we are featuring all of our portfolio company CEOs who have been on the podcast. I hope you're sitting down and getting ready to laugh. We're going to let our CEOs take it from here. Let's go.
Mr. Steven Simoni, Bebot, Season 1, Episode 7.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Scrabble, who would you have the better odds of beating?
Schatzy.
Come on, really, Julie?
I
have
Schatzy, for sure.
vocabulary of maybe a 6-year-old throwing in a lot of 4-letter words, okay? I mean, honestly.
Mr. Michael Jacober, Blanket, Season 2, Episode 1.
If you had to challenge Jimmy or I in a game of Clue, who would you have the better odds of beating?
I would consolidate both of your skills, all of your strengths into one human. So whoever the child of Jimmy and Schatzy is, I would challenge that child and I would dominate.
Eric Smith, Clocked In founder and CEO, Season 2, Episode 2. If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a round of bowling, who would you have the better odds of beating?
That's assuming I win, right?
We don't know. I tell you, who do you have better odds of beating?
Oh my! I'd like to go with Jimmy, but Schatzy, man, you might have one, so I'm going to go with you.
By the way, that's a very smart choice. I'll make it a very quick story. When I was a little kid, I was carrying a few extra pounds, and now I'm just carrying a lot of extra pounds. My parents sent me to a bowling league to get in shape. By the way, I don't think bowling and getting in shape is a high correlation, but I've had game for a long time. You chose the right guy to beat.
I totally agree. Jimmy's going to throw that ball. He's going to hit those pins. He's going to smash those pins. Forget about it. I agree.
Mr. Zach Oates, CEO of Ovation, Season 2, Episode 4.
This is the big.
All right.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Pictionary, who would you have better odds of beating?
I'd say Schatzy, just because I'm not sure if you could sit through the whole game.
Touche. Yes. Well, Zach, I must say that Jimmy does usually number 5 is usually everyone always wants to beat Schatz. Yvonne Makovic, Spengo, Season 2, Episode 7. If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Risk, who would you have better odds of beating?
Oh, man. I'm leaning towards you, Schatzy.
Jimmy, it's never fails. I am just a big idiot in the room, I guess. I must just come across as the big idiot. Okay, not a problem. I don't think anyone has ever picked, anyone has said they'll beat Jimmy.
Schatz, you were the you were the 2020 New York Jets of this podcast.
2020 New York Jets? Jimmy, I think I'm the Jets since 1985.
Everyone's beating on you, my friend.
Thank you for that. And I will say that Risk is my game, but Jimmy will probably be better at it anyway. Okay.
By the way, I was fully prepared for Yvonne to say he'll take us down both and we can even work together. But I was prepared for him to say I'm spanking you both.
Mr. Andrew Nash, CEO of Targetable, Season 2, Episode 11.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of gin rummy, who would you have better odds of beating?
Oh, wow. I'm leaning into Schatzy here.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, Jimmy. I knew, because come on. I mean, I knew. I got Jimmy in Hangman. Oh, and what I get?
He got me in checkers also. I don't know.
Yeah, checkers, or it was
it was ping pong. It was ping pong.
Ping pong. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Andrew.
They didn't want me running around the table.
Yeah. Right.
Stephen Sperry, Minnow Pod, Season 3, Episode 10.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, who would you have the better odds of beating?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I would beat either of you guys. But I guess I would challenge Jimmy.
Ooh. Challenge Jimmy. That would
Yes.
be interesting. Look at that, Jimmy. Huh?
I think he chose. I think he
We'd
chose
go
that
toe-to-toe.
because he'd like the challenge. The key word that he wants a challenge. He wants to beat.
So you're saying that he would just wipe me off the floor.
You know, if he wants to beat on a fourth grade level, he's gonna choose Schatzy. But a challenge. If you said, who do you want to?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Want
Making fun of
grade?
fourth graders. That's really not PC, Jimmy.
Well, isn't that the show? Who's smarter than a fourth
I think
grader?
it's a fourth. Is it fifth grade or a fourth grader?
I thought it was fourth grader. If it's fifth grader, I messed
doesn't
up.
matter.
All right.
Mr. Brandon Barton, CEO of Bite, Season 4, Episode 8.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a race to 10 burpees, who would you have better odds of beating? I don't think burpees have anything to do with how big your arms are, Jimmy.
No, I mean, they
There's
do a little bit.
burpee
But
shot.
I just look at Jimmy and I say that guy is going to try to win at whatever he does, and I see you like slipping or something, Schatzy. I'm gonna.
I slip.
Yeah, like your arm will
really?
slip. You get out of rhythm real quick.
So basically, you're saying that you would beat me.
But by like a foot fault disqualification, not because you don't have any.
Not because I'm not in incredible shape.
No, you are in incredible shape, but there would be something that would go wrong real quick. Your shoes untied.
I agree.
All of a sudden,
I pull a muscle. I'm old.
I didn't hear the horn. I didn't know we were supposed to start, and all of a sudden, I'm done. 8 burpees. So.
No, I agree. An old white Jewish guy shouldn't be doing burpees anyway.
I think your attention deficit disorder would play a role here, Schatzy.
Wait, what? Wait, what did you say?
I think you'd be like, how many burpees do I have to do? What I do? That's enough. I'm going to the bar. Okay.
I agree. 10's too many. Bisha Majid, Mighty Quins Barbecue, Season 4, Episode 3.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of pin the tail on the donkey, who would you have better odds of beating?
All right, I haven't seen you guys play this game, so I have no data here to go off of. I'm gonna think I could beat Schatzy.
A pin the tail on the donkey, Jimmy? I can't. I mean, come on, that's my game.
I thought our producer lowered the threshold to really give you a fighting chance, but when in doubt, the answer I could beat Schatzy usually comes up. I think it's good. I respect it.
Every birthday party when I was young, I mean, spin you around, and I'd kill. I mean, I'd put the tail on every. I can't. I love pin the tail. We got to bring that game back.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. It's a bar game that's been destined. It's really, there's billiards, there's darts, there's shuffleboards, and I know people have been craving for pin the tail on the donkey.
Hey, Jimmy, you get a couple beers, you go a little. Come on, you bring a little pin the tail on donkey, any bar, you're gonna have a lot.
I
of
like
laughs.
it, and most importantly, I think that brings my record to like 38-2 of not being selected.
That's good for me. Thanks, Misha. I appreciate that. I mean, all I did was build you up, and this is like.
Mr. Josh Goodman, Pour My Beer, Season 4, Episode 4.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to good old-fashioned thumb war, who would you have the better odds of beating? I mean, talk about a stacked question. Maybe
Jimmy's clearly the better athlete and has the most muscle, so I'm gonna have to go after Schatzy. Sorry.
I mean, look, these guys play football. They're like, one's a linebacker, one's like, I don't even know what they are. I mean, I'm a skinny little short Jewish guy. Like, come on, who's coming up with these questions, guys? Throw me a bone. Give me something else.
I appreciate it. I submitted that one. I submitted the question.
Hands are ginormous. Josh Sharkey, Mies, Season 4, Episode 6.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of ping pong, who would you have the better odds of beating?
So, I'm going off of literally no background knowledge here because I assume I have no idea if you guys are good at all. So this is speculation, but I would have to guess that Jimmy would be like more prepared if we were going to play, and he would have calculated the odds and the angles of the table because he's a finance guy. So I think I'd beat you, Schatzy.
Yes. You and all other 28 or 30 guests we've had on the podcast so far. I think the only time I think I may have like somebody said that they could beat Jimmy over me. I think it was Twister.
So I think that honestly, this should end
Naked Twister. I think it was Naked Twister, even worse.
Once this is an in-person podcast, this should just end with an actual ping pong game instead.
Yes, we may have to do that. Josh, I have to say, I think you chose wisely. Schatzy, you won the Twister one, and then somebody chose you an event. They said they wanted to play you because they said you guys would quit and go to the bar, and I'd be trying to figure out how to be competitive.
Yes, you're right.
Josh, you should know I leave it all out of the ping pong table. Leave it all out.
And darts.
Josh,
they pick you for darts. They pick you for pool.
Darts. Yes.
They picked me for Twister. So sad.
Twister. You got Twister.
Rob Carpenter, Valiant AI, Season 5, Episode 12.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of rock, paper, scissors, who would you have better odds of beating?
Jimmy.
Oh, whoa! What do you? Right, just Jimmy like that? I didn't even get a chance to even think.
With authority.
Wow, final answer?
Final answer.
Final answer, Jimmy. Are you not good at rock? Jimmy.
You know, I saw that question and I was thinking to myself, do I want to be chosen as the person to beat or not the person to beat? I got to tell you, I'm okay with being chosen the person to beat. I think Rob thought of all the games that he could beat me at. He chose one that was admittedly a little simpler. I think if it was any game of more skill than that, he was choosing you as the answer. Starting with checkers. If the question was checkers, I think he was choosing you. But okay.
I agree. He'd probably have Holly play if it was checkers. He'd have Holly.
I was just worried you were going to pick arm wrestling, and I thought you'd hurt me. So I was going to a simple one.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Clayton Wood, Picnic, Season 5, Episode 3.
If you were a guest on The Price is Right and you had to go head-to-head in the Showcase Showdown with Jimmy or I, who would you have better odds of beating?
I have to go with the restaurant guy.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I was getting my microphone ready to say this one was teed up for me. Boom.
Wait a minute. I am very good at prices, right? Jimmy's never been shopping. He doesn't know. He's never been to a supermarket.
I'm the guy that knows the numbers.
All right.
He had to take you down.
Tim McLaughlin, Go Tab, Season 6, Episode 6.
Hey, if you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Boggle, who would you have better odds of beating? Boggle, the crazy board game.
I think I'm going to beat you rather than Jimmy.
Of course you would beat me rather than Jimmy. I think. You know you would beat me rather than Jimmy. My vocabulary is 4 letters, and that's pretty much it. You add an S, I go to 5-letter words. It's because I make them plural.
But it's an energetic 4 letters. Yes. That's the important part.
It is. And and again, ing, I can add that and, make them 7. But again, they're all the same 4-letter words.
Schatzy, I don't know. Schatzy, you talk good. You good.
I do. I talk.
You talk good. Good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. One funny. Sorry, not them allowed to get into politics, but we have presidents who achieve that with like 3-letter words. So I'm pretty sure it's not really a limitation. But it would.
The robot.
Boggle. The robot. I feel like I don't do terrible on Scrabble though. But that's also I play with that. But I keep the dictionary on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have the phone, you type it in.
No, I literally have the dictionary in my hand when I play Jillian, and she's like, "You're cheating." I'm like, "I'm not cheating. I'm just looking. I want to make sure I spell the word right. I mean, that's not cheating."
I think that would be exactly cheating, but okay, we'll talk to Jillian about that.
Jimmy, I don't want to spell the word wrong. That would be horrible.
You know what? You make a good point, and we'll leave it to the inventors.
And who knows what to do with those X's and those Z's? They're so hard. Who can make a word with those?
Why don't you take a moment and think about that one?
Lindsay Hole, Dispatch Goods, Season 6, Episode 2.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Yahtzee, who would you have better odds of beating?
Ooh, this is tough. I don't know who's a better gambler, but Yahtzee is a bit of a numbers game from a strategic standpoint.
Well, you know where she's going with this, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think I would take on Schatzy for that.
Yep. All right, we're back on track. Thanks, Lindsay. We're back on
track. Last week, I think I beat Jimmy, and we're back on to Jimmy's 28-1 or something like that.
We are back on track. Thank you, Lindsay.
Scott Siegel, Kerbit, Season 6, Episode 3.
Here we go. If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Coke or Pepsi, talking bar mitzvahs. Who would you have better odds of beating?
Oh, I would say I can't go Schatzy. I would say Jimmy. Too much the energy. I think he would fizzle out.
Yeah, I had Jimmy at CES. They dropped us off at the convention center and the wrong end of the convention center. We need to be on like the west side of the convention center. And I had Jimmy walk. It was like a 4.5 mile walk with his bag. He was panting. I'm like, Jimmy, I swear we're almost there. So yeah, I agree. You know, Coke and Pepsi. I think I got you. I think
You know what? I'll accept that. And I think Schatzy, you're very wiry. You're wiry, Schatzy. You got yes.
And I would pull that chair away and move things around. Yeah.
But I see Coke and Pepsi being akin to Simon Says, and Schatzy, your attention deficit disorder and your inability to stay focused. I got to tell you, I might be less wiry than you, but I will pay attention and I will. What?
Yeah, you
still here? You still here? Wait, there you go. Perfect. Exactly.
Evan DeSantola, Agot AI, Season 6, Episode 1.
All right, here we go. This is the big one. If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of code names, one of Jimmy and I's favorite, I mean, I'm playing it all the time, who would you have better odds of beating in code names? One of our favorites.
So I don't know, who do you guys think would win? It's because if you guys are going to play, I'll play the champion.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I've never heard of code names before. I've never seen it, never heard of it. I have no idea what code names is. I was completely lying when I said Jimmy and I love that game. Jimmy, do you know code names?
If I had to Google it to know what it is, does that mean I didn't know what it is before?
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't even think of Googling it. Why didn't I just Google it?
It's a 2015 card game for 48 players designed by Vlad and published in Czech Games Edition. Two teams compete by having each spy master give one-word clues that can point to multi-words on the board.
Jesus, Jimmy, I cannot believe how much you know about this game code name.
Now ask Evan the question of who he wants.
All right, so now, Evan, now that we know what code names is, if
you think both of you, I can take it.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of code names after Jimmy and I have a chance to play it a little bit and get used to the game, who would you better odds of beating?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the Jimmy.
He's still beating me.
You beat Jimmy?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Seriously? Wow. Yeah. Thanks, Evan. Yeah. Codenames is my new favorite game. It's like Monopoly, Clue, then Codenames.
I'm going to guess that I think he could take us both down, but I have no issue and I respect
Jimmy. He picked you.
He did pick me. He did. Schatz,
he can kill you in Codenames.
You're 1-0 in Season 6.
He thinks with me versus him, it'd be close. Evan Schatz, close. Jimmy versus Evan Codenames, not even close. That's what he was saying.
I will say he will beat me, and I will say he'll destroy you. But okay, we move on from there.
No, Evan doesn't think so.
Kimberly Smith, Copia, Season 6, Episode 12.
If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a game of Name That Tune, who would you have better odds of beating?
Oh, well, you both always have your headphones on, so I don't know if you're actually talking to people or listening to music.
Wait, what?
But
I don't
think I've ever seen your ears. Truth be told,
I have music going right now. I'm not even listening to this podcast.
Okay, just because of pure breadth of knowing today's music, I'm gonna go. I have a better odd of beating you, Schatzy, because Jimmy has that beautiful 5-year-old girl that I know. He is belting out tunes of Encanto and Frozen. You're going down, Jimmy.
Oh, don't get Jimmy started with Frozen. Oh, let it snow. I mean, oh, good God, yes.
As much as I like Frozen, Encanto is crushing Frozen, and I have to say,
Jimmy, you continue with your record, Jimmy.
Lin-Manuel, and my buddy from Wesley University, he single-handedly saved Hamilton on the $10 bill, and again, I got to tell you, put Wesley on the top 10. I'm a big fan, Lynn, and thank you for Encanto. And yes, Kimberly, my daughter, if you asked her, would say that Daddy can't sing, but he can dance. But I do know music, so I think you chose wisely.
Especially get a couple of Macallan 12s in Jimmy. You should see him. He dances and sings. He becomes a triple threat.
Yes.
But he doesn't talk about Bruno.
No, we cannot talk about Bruno. See, Schatzy doesn't even get that reference.
Yes, exactly.
That's Dancing with the Stars, isn't it?
Exactly.
I know, Bruno. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy, you don't even know what you're doing, Jimmy.
Michael Jacober live episode, Blanket, Season 6, Episode 9.
That was his second time with us.
Let's say we were to do a remake of Ocean's 11 while we're here in Vegas. MJ, you are set to take over as George Clooney and Danny Ocean. But here's the catch. You have to choose either myself or Jimmy to be your Brad Pitt as your right-hand man. So who are you going to be picking to be your Brad Pitt?
I respect the question. I got to say, I respect it.
That is a good question. Sterling, it's no secret that you're a handsome guy. I think what made Brad Pitt in that movie was his appetite. And I'm going to have to go with Jimmy Frischling.
That was an amazing answer because I think I just got slapped.
Yeah, but it was a suspenseful one. It was this beautiful lead up. It was incredibly complimentary of me, and then just right across.
I think that was a great compliment to
Jimmy.
Sterling and an absolute backhanded slap to
But
me.
also a little insulted. I have actually completed over a dozen food eating challenges in my 20s. So I don't know if the appetite thing, I think I could go toe to toe with Jimmy on that.
But you don't look like you overeat, and I do. The key is you don't look the part. So I respect it. I was going to say I resent that remark, but I don't. I resemble that remark. I resemble it.
Mr. Gary Goodman, CEO of Yumpingo, Season 7, Episode 7.
If you were to challenge Jimmy Rye to a game of musical chairs, who would you have better odds of beating? Look at how fast I'm moving. Look at how I'm moving. I'm doing yoga.
Yeah, probably.
I'm swimming, Gary.
It depends what time of day it is, Schatzy, because the reality is that Jim isn't like an early riser. We know that, right? So if it's before
Jimmy hasn't slept in years.
Before 10 in the morning, I'm picking you, Schatzy, because Jim is gonna win hands down. After 10 in the morning, Jimmy, and after 10 at night, probably you're both gonna have a problem, I think.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you say that? What is happening after 10 at night? When the McAllen Jimmy comes out?
I've just been out with you to know
I was
that.
going to say I'll be tired, and Schatz, you would have consumed your best of what Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker and
But
McAllen. Why can't we get them to sponsor, Jimmy?
I think right now they feel don't break what's not broken. We're consuming plenty. We're buying
doing
plenty.
very well without us.
Why should they sponsor for?
The only thing that can happen is sales go down.
Exactly. I think your answer was very, very correct. I was going to say Shatzy's got me on the speed and the agility, and I've got the size to bump you out of the way.
100%.
But okay, fair enough.
Dan Meth, Ingest, Season 7, Episode 4.
If you were to challenge Jimmy Rye to an old school backyard summertime slip and slide race, who would you have better odds of beating? Oh my God, are you kidding? The slip and slide? I'm pretty sure slip and slide is all based on girth.
I thought this was an interesting question. I have to tell you.
So, but if you get a running start, Jimmy, the heaviest object is going to go.
But it depends, right? It depends. Like there's a follow-up question here. Are we talking about a flat surface, or are we talking about a decline? Right? Because if we're talking decline, you're right. I've got mass. So Schatz, I'll take you every day of the week.
Yeah.
If it's a flat surface,
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge Jimmy.
Yeah. I'm not going to go as far.
Yeah. Because the frictional coefficient.
Daniel is molecular stuff going on here. So now he's starting to bring friction into it and stuff like that.
That's right.
Not so wrong. Who would you beat?
I'd beat, I mean, again, I'd beat you going down, and I'd beat Jimmy going flat.
I'm not going up.
We all lose. Everybody loses.
Nobody goes up.
You know what? I'm going to respect the answer, and I'm agreeing with you. I think you would beat us both, and I agree with the downhill, flat hill. Mr. Taj Adav, CEO of Leasecake, Season 7, Episode 12.
If you were to challenge Jimmy Rye to be your partner in an escape room challenge, who would you choose to have better odds of winning? Escape room challenge. I've done this. I don't know if Jimmy, have you done one of these escape rooms? I've done it with my kids. And let me tell you, I had to call 911. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, Schatz, you should stop speaking because the more you speak, the more you're going to bury yourself. But I was too slow to tell you that because you just buried yourself. Taj, he just admitted he couldn't even get out of the room with his kids.
All right,
so
two options. Listen, if it's an escape challenge that involves numbers and codes, it's Jimmy all the way. But if it's an escape room challenge that's based on good looks, it's Schatz.
I respect that.
Well, the room that I was in, I don't think they cared about looks.
Yeah, in the room you played in, I like that. I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Oh,
All right.
Jimmy, there are puzzles in there and keys to find and codes. My head exploded. I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, Schatz, your ADD does not lend itself well to escape room challenges. You lose interest.
Wait, what was that? What was that, Jimmy?
Exactly.
All right, that was a ton of fun. I got to tell you, I feel like we were reading off the Oscar.
Sounded really cool. I like
and
that.
the nominees are.
The winner is Jimmy. Open it up.
Oh, yeah, the winner's me, because if you count up how many times people said they beat you, it was a lot more they beat me.
The winner is
trend line.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy, Mr. Brantley Frischling.
All right, Sterling, we want to thank you so much for being here, being once again an excellent co-host, and for being part of this special Best of series. We appreciate you, my brother. To our listeners, we want to thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time. We know there are literally hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there. And the fact that you choose to hang out with us is something we appreciate and value. We hope you enjoyed this special edition, special episode of the Best of, and we hope you continue to and tune into all of them. Tune in next week when we kick off Season 8. That's right, Season 8 with guest John Payton, CEO of Dine Brands. That's right.
That's the kind of guest we're getting, Jimbo.
I got to tell you, when the NFL kicks off, when the NFL kicks off with the season opener, who do they bring in? LA Rams, Buffalo Bills. We kick off Season 8. That's right. I'll drop the mic. That's Mr. John Payton, CEO of Dine Brands. Applebee's, IHOP. Hello. It's going to be an excellent show. You won't want to miss it. And finally, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast. You don't miss out on any of our exciting guests coming up in the future. And better yet, invite a friend to hang out with us the next time. So until then, this is Jimmy Frischling, finishing our Best of series as we go around the horn. Your finance guy is signing off and passing it to my boy Schatzy.
This is Schatzy, a.k.a. Restaurant Guy, signing off. Cheers, everybody.
And this is Sterling Douglas, the technology guy. Thanks for having me on for Season 7. Really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.